Cheers, thank you. Okay, welcome everyone. We're going to be focusing on stretching the calves today. So it'll be a quick video just to kind of add to the morning or evening. So we are going to get standing, and if anything doesn't feel good, just feel free to skip. But we'll just start in a nice strong mountain pose. So I'm just going to stay facing this side so I can still watch Clay. But we're going to start with our feet hip width distance apart. Our toes will be forward and straight in line with the heels. So don't move them out to either sides of the mat. Just be straight ahead. Again, so we get that nice four corner base going between our feet. We're just going to inhale, roll the shoulders down, back, and away. And we're going to draw that belly button in towards the spine. And I should start to feel a little activation occurring into the legs. So if you're not, just kind of squeeze through the legs. Feel that nice strong base occurring. Keeping the chin lifted so we have a nice opening between. So with our calves, it turns out we use them all the time unless we're just sitting or laying. So they are one of our biggest muscles that can tend to become overused. So these are good little stretches to get them loosened out. So once we've calmed down, got our breath under control, we're just going to start to sink into a mini chair. So my knees are just pushing forward towards my toes or over the toes. And even with this slight chair, you can start to feel a little stretch occurring into the calf. So your calf has two major muscles. You have your gastrocnemius, which is that big muscle you can see on the outside, and then your soleus, which is right underneath it. And both of those can become super tight and then control that tension that occurs at the heel. So less tiptoes, more flat feet that we're going for. So from here, we're just going to lean forward. So weight shifting into the toes. And we're just going to start to straighten out by lifting up our hips. So I should be feeling a nice stretch through the hamstrings here. You can see I'm still bent quite a bit, but I'm having a lot of stretch occurring in my hamstrings. I guess for me, that is a major tight point. And so then when I get into my calves, I'm just going to start to shift my weight back into the heels and sink lower into my chair. So now I'm getting a nice stretch from my heel all the way up towards the back of my knee. So again, weight all the way back into the heel, sitting low. Again, we'll shift our weight forward, bringing our weight into the toes. Straighten out through the legs, little hamstring stretch. Just to even it out. That way we're not totally focusing on the calves, right? Okay, let's press it back. Weight goes back into the heels. Good job. We'll do this one more time. And then we'll give the legs a little break just for a second. That's silly, I know. Shift it back into the heels. Let's stand up. Nice strong mountain pose. Inhale, circling the arms up. Let's twist towards one side just to loosen up through the back as well. Get a little even out here. Inhale, arms up. Take it to the other side. Hopefully we're feeling a little looser into our spine and arms. So we're going to just come back real quick. Sink it back into your favorite chair. We're just going to keep our hands at heart center or a cactus, whatever's more comfortable. But I just want the focus to be onto the legs. And let's just kind of forget about what our arms are doing for right now. So from here, I'm just going to take my right foot. I'm going to shoot it all the way towards the front of the mat. I'm going to come into my high lunge. So my feet are still hip width distance apart. And with this high lunge, we have our front foot is fully planted onto the mat, and the ball of the back foot is just pressing into it. So I'm going to be pressing forward with the ball of the back foot while I have it firmly printed. And I want to be able to loosen my toes into the front. So now if I shift my weight back slightly, you can feel that stretch starting to occur into the calf. So again, we're going to take that left foot, meet it to the right, chair pose. To the other side, right foot comes back, right stays forward, left stays forward. And again, shift. So let's bring it back. And if you want maybe more of a hip flexor stretch, if you're saying, okay, I'm really glad I started this calf one, but I want a little more, you can always lean forward. So you have a little more hip flexor. Otherwise, we're going to be trying to really press back. So we're thinking heel towards the floor. Walk it in to the other side. Heel towards the floor. So as we do this as a little more of a moving motion, obviously my balance is being challenged. So I want to make sure my core's all nice and tight, but we're allowing that motion to help stretch versus just statically stretching. So it's coming a little more dynamic, which means we just don't have to hold it as long. We use this a lot in aerobic classes to just move through the stretches. Thanks, buddy. Let's do one more on each side. And we'll hold the chair at the top once we finish. I think this is, no, I'm doing two more apparently. Thanks, bud. Getting someone taking over my yoga mat. So we're going to sit back into that chair. So again, we'll just sit down nice and low. Keep a nice flat spine here. Just take our hands onto the mat. Keep the right foot forward, left foot back, runner's lunge. Same thing as we did earlier, but now we're just going to do a nice little rocking motion. So forward and back. Hi, cheeseburger. Forward and back. Yeah, we're just rocking, so you should be feeling that ankle starting to move as we rock forward and back. Sometimes when we have too tight of calves, the ankle mobility is lost, but we're going to lower the left knee down, coming into a low lunge, but keeping our hands onto the mat. Because again, we're working more of just slowly stretching the lower body versus anything else. I'm going to keep my hands down and just kind of rock back to my half monkey, so straightening through my front leg. You can see I still have a large bend into my leg just because I'm super tight, but I want to keep my weight even between my legs. Thanks, bud. Oh, excuse you. Let's switch forward. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. I know you really like that leg. Let's go switch. Switch, switch, switch. Runner's lunge. Rock it back and forth. Oh, thank you. Keep rocking. I'm going to hide this cord because we don't want that. Look at all these things you have. Okay. Okay, I rocked it. Now, low lunge, keeping my hands down. And then we'll press back again, half monkey. So I love doing these stretches just because it is a nice way to get into the legs. But I don't want to spend too much time on the knees just because that can be a section of, what are you doing, weirdo? Clayton wants to do Shavasana. He's already ready. He's already ready for that pose. I like it. It's good. Okay, let's rock it back to that runners. We're coming back into the chair. We'll inhale, round up again, and now we're going to shift forward again. Lift the hips, hamstring stretch, and then again, sink it lower. See if we get a little lower into the legs, if we feel a little more release occurring into the calves. But I just want to take that left foot, take it back into that high lunge, but we're just going to inhale, rise it on up. Ooh, that was slow. To a knee lift. Again, one more time, slowly taking it nice and long, feeling that stretch in the calf. Inhale, rise, knee lift. Let's do it one more time just like that. Hold it here. Let's drop it just into a 90-90 lunge. We're just going to pulse here, so this is also a nice stretch can occur if you're not focusing on the thighs. You can just focus on that pulse that's occurring. Does that feel nice with my knee into your back? Ooh. Oh yeah, that feels good, Mom. And 3, 2, 1, let's bring that knee up, hold it, lift, couple ankle circles. And once we've eaten that out, we're just going to take that leg behind, finding a nice hip extension, so pointing the toes behind us, feeling the glute flex. Hi, bye. We'll do the same thing to the other side, so a nice chair pose, take it back, high lunge. Inhale, drive the knee up, find that balance. Extend it back. Where are you going? Inhale, rise. Woo! My balance lost there. Come back here. I have Cheerios. 1 Cheerio. Drive it up. One more time. Nice high lunge. We'll drive that knee, and this time that 90-90 occurs, so we'll drop and pulse. Feeling that muscle. So even this, while we are stretching, we're still activating through those calves. So keep pulsing for a count of 3, 2, 1. Drive the knee forward, ankle circles. Ooh, it's hard to keep the balance, it seems. One more in each direction. Take that leg back, hip extension. So feeling again that glute activate. Reminding myself to release through my front toes so I'm not pinching the mat. Bring our feet together. We're going to come into a nice forward fold. So just bend the knees here. Bring the chin towards the chest. And if you can, we can start to straighten through the legs. But this can be a big stretch for the back. So it can be big on the hamstrings or the calves, depending on where we are, super tight. So I'm going to keep a slight bend into my legs just because I want to listen to how sore they are today. And from here, we're just going to take our feet back, and we're going to come into a plank first. How about that? So set up our foundation here. Our wrists are underneath our shoulders. Our feet are nicely long and back in line with our hips, and we're pressing back into the balls of the feet. So I should have a nice flat spine here. And from here, I'm going to bend the knees like into a hover and shift my weight back into a down dog. So this obviously looks a little different than a normal down dog, but this is listening and respecting where our legs are today. So if we are still tight through the calves or the hamstrings, this is a great modification. Otherwise, we can straighten through the legs and we can start to press those heels back towards the floor. But again, we can always take this modified one. I greatly enjoy it since the back of my legs are super tight. And either way, we're getting a nice stretch occurring and a nice little inversion. So we'll hold here for 2 more rounds of breath. We'll slowly wake our way onto a seated position. We'll do one final stretch on each side. And it's just going to be that basic little stretch here. So we're just going to be reaching down towards the foot. So again, anytime we're stretching anything on the back of the leg, the calf should be getting a nice little stretch with it. So we're just going to stretch here. I can feel it occurring all the way through as my leg is very tight. So this is a great ending stretch to any activity you're doing, especially if it's a large cardio where you just kind of need to relax, keep your head above your heart. This is a great way to do it. Also, if you need to distract Clay, you just stand him up with a toy. Also, great way to end a class too. So stretch here a few more. Grab me for anywhere that's comfortable. From here, we'll just take it into an easy seated position of our choice, crisscross or butterfly. We're just going to inhale, round the shoulders, down, back, and away. Draw the belly button in. Take one large inhale in together. And exhale, release. And with that, I hope you enjoyed some of those calf stretches. We'll expand onto it later, but again, this can be a big growing pain occurrence if it's not just overuse. So just listen to your body, or if you wear heels a lot as well. And make sure you stretch as much as you can. Can never say it enough. And make sure you balance with some dynamic movements as well. So have a fantastic day, and hopefully your lower body's feeling a little looser. Namaste, guys.